What's going on, everyone? It's kylecroese, and this is the Everything I Watched segment for February and March for 2023. The reason I'm doing February inside of March is because I didn't really watch that much inside of February, and I wasn't really sure where to go during when March was happening, and I was like, I might just put it into the March video, and I think I explained that on my socials as well. So that is why February will be included inside the March segment, and as well, sorry for the lateness as well. I've been sick, and you might even see this throughout the video as well. My throat's still playing up. Enough talking. Let's get into it. I started February with Dinner in America. This is a film by Adam Carter Raymere. It stars Kyle Gallner, Emily Skeggs, and is about a punk rocker who is in prison. He gets released. Who may or may have not done a crime. He gets released. And he meets this woman named Patty, who's part of this this American nuclear family, this goody two shoes family, and they come together and they form an unlikely romance. This is like a rom-com, but also kind of like an irreverent comedy as well. I thought this movie is incredibly charming. I love the two leads. I last saw Kyle Gallner, weirdly enough, in Scream 5. When he gets killed outside of the pub, and when I watched Scream 5, I didn't realize it was him, and then I watched this, and I was like, wait a minute, this motherfucker from Scream 5, and then I rewatched Scream 5 again last month, and saw him again, and I was like, holy shit, okay. Anyway, that's just a weird moment. But yeah, I thought this was incredibly charming. I thought it was really funny. Some really heartwarming moments as well. I unironically love the song from the movie as well, Watermelon, I think, which is performed by Emily Skeggs herself. And what they get up to in the film is it's just a fun ride. It's just a really fun ride. This got I played at festivals, I think, in 2020, and then it got like an official release in 2021, but like didn't go super worldwide. And then it finally, I think, went global, or got more of a proper release at the end of 2022, and I was happy to check it out at the beginning of 2023. And look, I recommend this one. It's slightly paced as well, and it kind of just flies by. It's a breeze, and it's just a lot of fun. I really had a lot of fun, and the chemistry between the two leads of Kyle Gallner and Emily Skeggs, I thought was really great. Some of the best I've seen in rom-com in a while. And just like I said, the shenanigans that these two get up to, and the music and the songs and the punk rock energy of it all. I loved it. The opening especially, I think, is one of the best openings I've seen in a while. So Dinner in America, please check that out. It's a really good movie, and I think it should be seen by more people. Then I checked out Alice Darling from Toronto International Film Festival from last year, 2022. Everyone was raving about this one when it was released, and it finally got its release in January, but I watched it in February, I think, on digital. This is about a woman named Alice, who's played by Anna Kendrick, and she's in an abusive relationship, and she goes away on a retreat with her friends to try and get away from and just have a break from her life with her boyfriend. And obviously they are trying to get her to, leave him. And I thought this movie was really good. I thought the premise is interesting. It's upholstered by performance from Anna Kendrick. I think this is her best performance for her whole career so far. I think that the character is not going to work without a great performance from your lead actress. And Anna was so fantastic. I loved Alice's little nuances. Obviously, I don't know what it is like to be inside an abusive relationship, but I've heard from a lot of people that have been inside an abusive relationship that this is the sort of things that someone would go through, and some of the things that Alice does throughout this movie, like twirling her hair, pulling her hair out, really being shuttered in terms of like emotionally and really keeping everything under the hood, so to say. This has a great opening scene where they're at a diner and her boyfriend just keeps texting her, and it's just constant texting just to get that reaffirmation of how much she loves him, and then she's not going to leave him. And the friends obviously are, they're upset by it. They're very much put off by it, and they don't like him, obviously. It really sets up a pretty tense movie. It's just about a woman that goes away with her friends on a retreat, but it's the tension between her and the boyfriend that she has, her current partner, and the tension that she has with her friends, because obviously they want her not to be part of this relationship anymore and to be safe from this relationship, because it's detrimental to Alice's mental health. And I thought the movie itself was good all the way until the end. I'm a little bit mixed on the ending, I'm afraid. I thought it just like, it has a great like moment at the end, which I thought was really good. But, and that's again, helped by the performances of Anna Kendrick and these two other ladies, Wunmi Misaku and Kaneko Horn. Sorry if I'm saying those names wrong. And we last saw Wunmi Misaku in Loki, playing that Hunter character. And here they are playing Alice's friends, their best friends. It brings up a lot of things that happened in the past between Alice and her friends, and also, like I said, the current situation as well. Like, okay, well, if you don't love me, if you don't love the boyfriend who I'm with, then you don't love me. And a lot more tension is reamed out of that as well. And look, I'm rambling a little, but just this is a great performance. This is a movie that I think could have been written better, but it is upholstered by a great performance from Anna Kendrick. I think a career best from her. And if you want to check out more of Anna Kendrick and seeing what she can bring, really seriously, with acting chops, Alice Darling is where you're going to find that. Then I watched a special, Mark Maron, From Bleak to Dark. It's not from 1962. I don't know why it says that. I think it did it in America as well. There's a 2002. Some of these I'm making these at like late at night and everything, and I should probably proofread them. It's not from 1962. It's from 2023. It's streamed on February 11th, as you can see in the poster there, on HBO Max. And I'm a fan of Mark Maron. I used to listen to his podcast, but then it's so like, it comes out so much as well that I couldn't really keep up with it. But I've listened to a few great episodes here and there. I've seen all his specials. I really like his specials. Thinky Pain, I think, is one of my favorite specials of all time. It's up there in my top 10 specials. I liked his last two ones. I didn't think they were as great as what he's done before. But this one, I thought this one was really, really dark, I guess. And he talks about a lot of interesting topics, some great jokes as well. But there's a really great interlude, I guess, where when he talks about Lynn Shelton, because he used to be involved with Lynn Shelton. I think he was married to Lynn Shelton, and unfortunately she passed away, I think either in 2021 or 2022. And Mark hasn't really spoken in public about it too much, and in this special he addresses how he feels about Lynn being taken away from him, or like, him losing Lynn, how he's dealing with that, and how it has been. And I related to the content a little bit because I lost someone late last year as well, someone very dear to me, and I'm gonna be honest, it made me cry. That bit really made me cry. And around that, again, some great jokes are structured around it. I think Mark Maron is a great joke writer, and when he comes to talking about serious topics, I think he is one of the best in the game. And I thought this was a great special. If you love Mark Maron, you should check it out. If you don't like Mark Maron, this is probably not the best place to start, but just do check out his specials. I think you might like him. And then this one I've been waiting to talk about for a while, but I had seen it quite a while ago. Infinity Pool. This is the new film from Brendan Cronenberg, David Cronenberg's son, who last gave us Possessor in, I think it was 2019. I think 2019 was Possessor. And this stars Alexander Skarsgård, Mia Goth, and it is about this writer named James who goes to this resort with his wife, and they kind of get involved with this group of people. Mia Goth, Gabby is her name in the film. They get involved in these nefarious activities, and some weird shit starts going down at this resort. And that's all I want to say, because what you want to do is with this movie is you want to go into it blind. You want to go into it as blind as possible. Don't watch any fucking trailers. Don't read anything about it. The best thing about Cronenberg films, both Cronenbergs, is you want to go in blind. This movie had a lot of great surprises. Some wild scenes, a great trip sequence, in my opinion. A very wild scene involving a reach around, which I don't want to spoil too much, but that was a lot. My God, that was one of the first times I've seen something like that before. Shit. I think my only problem with the film is I think the themes that it's trying to convey are not that strongly conveyed. Is that the word I'm trying to? I think I wanted to get more out of it. I think this is the problem with Possessor as well. And this was the other problem with David Cronenberg's film Crimes of the Future from last year. I feel like I just wanted more out of its subject matter and the themes it was trying to explore. And don't get me wrong, there's some great shots. There are some great moments for you to think about after the film finishes. I really loved the scene, especially inside this dark. It looked like it was like a horse stable or something like that, and what happens to James and some other people. I don't know. I finished the film. I think I want to rewatch it as well. Talking with a friend about the ending as well now. I do want to rewatch it, and I kind of just like. It is scary, but I kind of just wanted more. Again, like I felt about Crimes of the Future, I just wanted more. I think from it and to understand more. And it's not just like I didn't miss all the themes. I think I did understand them, but I just wanted more out of them. And Infinity Pool, it's a great watch. It's a fun watch. I still recommend it to people as well. But I wanted a bit more, I wanted a bit more. But don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed the film. I loved Alexander Skarsgård. I fucking loved Mia Goth in this movie as well. This woman is coming. She's coming. She's coming for that Oscar soon. And not because of these genre films that she's doing. And don't get me wrong, these are fantastic what she's doing lately. I still think she should have been nominated for Pearl, but that's just me. She's going to come. She's going to get a role soon, and it's going to be noticed. And it's going to be really, really noticed. And I think she is one of the best we have around at the moment. And there's a lot more proof of that in Infinity Pool. It is a wild role. She takes it on with so much gravitas and so much fun as well. Looks like she's having a lot of fun with it. And Alexander Skarsgård as well. I think he's one of the most underrated ones we have around as well. And it's funny watching him in this and then watching him in Succession as well, playing a completely different character. And yeah, it's just great. I'm really happy for these actors. I'm really happy for Brandon Cronenberg making these weird fucking wild movies. And I'll keep watching them. Then I checked out Jim Jeffries' new special, High and Dry. I've been a fan of Jim for a very long time. I love all his specials. I think some are better than others, obviously. I think his dry spots were like around 2017, 2018. Obviously, he's the guy that did the gun bit from Bear. But he has one of my favorite specials of all time, which is Alcoholocaust from 2010. And I rewatched those specials as well. Just wanted to check out the comparison between what he's doing nowadays and what he used to be doing. I'm not saying that he was funnier back then, but I think his jokes were a little bit better. That being said, I still think this is a solid special from Jim. I still laughed quite a bit. I got my fill. And then I watched Mithrigan, the unrated edition, because I think we saw in the January video, I saw that, I think you would have seen already that I have seen Mithrigan. I refuse to call it Megan, it's Mithrigan. But this is the unrated version. This is the version that didn't go to theaters, and this was released on Peacock. And this is the version that they couldn't show in theaters. There's a lot more blood, a bit more kills. But if I'm honest, not a lot has changed. There's a lot more swearing, I think, in this one as well. I did notice a lot more F words and F-bombs dropped in. I think there was a C word at one point. I'm not too sure. But weirdly enough, I did like, especially the kill in the elevator. I thought that was really much better in this version. But weirdly enough, I didn't really find there to be much difference. I would still probably recommend the unrated version over the theatrical version when it comes to Mithrigan. There's not much like recontextualizing of things. There's not much real difference. It's just a lot more blood and not even a lot more, just a little bit more blood and a bit more swearing. And I don't know. I feel kind of the same as I did with Mithrigan. I'll still be watching the second one though. It's still a lot of fun, so I still recommend you guys check it out. And then I started March with that was the start of March, Mithrigan. But I started March properly with Demon Slayer to the Swordsmith Village. This was a film, and I'm putting that in inverted commas because it's not really a film, technically, because it's pretty much 3 episodes stitched together to make this feature thing. It still went for like an hour and 10 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes or something, but it is the last 2 episodes of season 2, stitched with the latest episode, or the first episode of season 3, which is the Swordsmith Village arc. So it's the last 2 episodes of the Entertainment District arc and the first episode of the Swordsmith Village arc. And I don't think I've talked about Demon Slayer on here before. I think I might have when I watched Mugen Train. Big fan of Demon Slayer. It's one of my favorite animes, and I love all the characters. The second last episode of season 2 is like one of my favorite shit ever. Like, it's one of the best things I've ever seen. As much as I thought that this wasn't really a film, I don't care, because I got to see the second last episode, Never Give Up, from season 2 of this show on the big screen, and that was just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I do want to highlight as well, in the first episode of the new season, we see this great scene with all of the villains inside of their dimension with Muzan. And the sound design, especially in the theater, the sound design was just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It was like pounding, and the cinematography as well. Like, I mean, I guess the animation, not really cinematography, but the animation of that scene going through the dimension and everything, of all that sound design, it was beautiful. So as much as I don't think this should be labeled as a movie, I still had a really great time, especially watching that second last episode and getting to watch. I mean, we got to watch the first episode early, so it was really cool to see. It just sucks that I still probably will rewatch the first episode again, but it just sucks that I won't really see new content now until next Sunday with Demon Slayer. But look, I still had fun. Okay, wow, that was crazy. So yeah, I still had fun with it. All right, Creed 3 was the next one I checked out, and this time this is directed by Michael B. Jordan, the star of the show. The first one was directed by Ryan Coogler, the second one directed by Stephen Cable Jr., and now this one's directed by Michael B. Jordan, not Michael Jordan. Michael B. Jordan. And I really, really enjoyed this film, especially visually, artistically. This film, I think, is the most artistic of the bunch. I wouldn't say it's the best. I still think the first one is the best. But this one is the most artistic of the bunch and really shows Michael B. Jordan's influences. You see it early on in the film, and then you see it later on in the film where it really gets to play. And I thought that was brilliant. You know what? I love these movies. I love these Creed movies. I think I like these more than the Rocky movies, to be honest. Some great performances from Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors and Tessa Thompson. I like the dynamic that Donnie had with his daughter, and then the stuff with his mother as well. This one, I don't think is the most emotional, but it's the most personal, I think, because these guys used to be friends. But I think the most emotional one is still Creed 2. But this one it has a lot of, it's like combining the artistry of the first one, where the first one had that long take fight scene. It combines a little bit of the artistry of that first one and the emotional stakes of the second one. And we kind of get a little mishmash of both here with Creed 3. And I got to say, yeah, the anime influences I saw, I loved that shit. That was great. Again, you saw a preview of it in the first fight, and then when you see it later on in the last fight, some cool shit. I really enjoyed this movie. Another solid entry in this franchise. I didn't really think we needed the third one, but I'm really happy we have this one, because now we have this great trilogy with each film having this artistic trademark stamp on top of it. Directed differently, 3 different distinct styles, and I think that's really cool to have in a trilogy like this. Then I went to the theater. I lobbed myself to the theater, and I watched Scream 6. But before I did that, my friend and I, Sophie, my friend, and we decided to rewatch all the Scream films again. I think I'd seen 3, but like really did not remember much of 3, and the same a bit with 2 as well. So we got to see 2 and 3 again with like fresher eyes, and I guess like older eyes, because we're much older now in our late 20s. Yeah, before this, we did watch all the Scream films from the first one to the 5th one, and then we went and saw the 6th one. I'll talk about the 6th one first, and then I'll give you my rankings of the Scream films in my opinion. But yeah, I really liked it. I really liked this movie. I liked the goriness of it all. It felt much more brutal. I loved this version of Ghostface up until the end, but I really loved this version of Ghostface and how and just how brutal like this Ghostface was. The kills are just gut wrenching, so fucking good. I love the opening scene as well. That kind of gut punch with the who gives a fuck about movies. That was really cool. And I now that we've gotten to know these characters as well from the fifth one, I like the core four. I like the core four. Mindy especially, I really do like. I think having her as like kind of like the new Kirby was cool. And then her and Kirby get to share a great scene later on in the film where they talk about remakes and reboots and their favorite horror movies and everything. And I thought that was just a great fan service scene, which I thought was really cool. But yes, it is fan service, but I still thought it was cool to have, as a cool dynamic to have. And Melissa Barrera, I think she's much better than when she was in Scream 5. I still think Jenna Ortega is fantastic. She's so good. Mason Gooding is great as well. And Jasmine Savoy Brown, like I said, as Mindy, my favorite new character. I thought it was a solid sequel. I think out of the sequels, I think this one was one of the better ones. I do like this one more than 5. I like this one more than 3. Perhaps even 2. I don't know, man. Perhaps even 2, but not better than 4. Sorry, 4 is fucking great. I love 4. And again, it was really well made again by Radio Silence. They pulled it off. They did a great job, I think, with everything. My least favorite part was the killer reveal at the end. But then again, I think my other than the first one, I think my least favorite part of all these movies is the killer reveal, because then it's just like the mystery's over. Then it's just like, this goes all fucking Scooby-Doo and shit. And it's always just not that exciting when it happens. That's just me. I don't know. I'm just not really a fan of the whole reveal at the end. I like just everything leading up to that. I loved what Radio Silence did with the New York setting, and it really made for some really nice, intense sequences, especially one with the apartment building and one involving a subway, which I think was my favorite one in the film. I really like. As much as I think the flashing lights is a bit contrived, having it be Ghostface and having it be set around people on a subway when they're in different costumes from all different scary movies, it just made for a great set piece, and I really enjoyed that. This Ghostface, though, I have a little gripe about Ghostface in this one. He's a lot less clumsy, and I like my Ghostface nice and clumsy, falling over a lot, getting kicked in the face, getting punched in the face, just falling over a lot, being real fucking goofy and shit. But this one really felt more grounded and felt more real, which I think works for this kind of story. But again, that's just me. I just like my Ghostface to be this ridiculous bloke, just to be this like ridiculous guy. And finally, I thought that a lot of people get stabbed in this movie, and look, we've seen Dewey get stabbed quite a lot, and he survived a lot. But there's one particular scene in this movie where his character gets stabbed, and I thought it was just ridiculous that they were still alive. I don't understand how they were still alive after that. But look, even for a Scream film, I thought it was quite ridiculous. But it still gets my stamp of approval. I really enjoyed Scream 6. If you want to get my ranking, it would be Scream 1, Scream 4, Scream 6, Scream 2, Scream 5, and Scream 3, I think would be my ranking out of these films. And if you want to take it up in the comments, sure. If you want to talk about it on DMs, sure. That's just my ranking. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, really enjoyed Scream 6. Recommend it. Looking forward to actually watching it again. I think I do want to watch it again this year and really get that. I really enjoyed the opening scene, man. I thought it was a great opening scene. A great use of Samara Weaving as well. Then I watched Cocaine Bear, and it is exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought it could have been a bit more ridiculous, in my opinion, and been a bit more crazier. But we had a great drinking game played with it on St. Patrick's Day. We had played with all the needle drops and everything. Fun use of the 80s setting. But it came and went. I didn't really see much of a trademark of Elizabeth Banks on it. I just don't really buy her as a director, I'm afraid. Because with these two movies that she's made now, Charlie's Angels, I think she directed Pitch Perfect 3, if I'm correct. I think it was 2. I just don't really see a stamp on films when it comes to Elizabeth Banks as a director. I think I just much prefer her as a performer, as an actor. But that's just me. But yeah, it's just it's a bear that does cocaine and he kills, and he does more cocaine. That's literally it, and I had fun. Then I watched again on the St. Patrick's Day. We had this tradition where we watch these bad movies and get smashed. on beverages, we decided to dig into the best of the worst pile that Red Letter Media has done and checked out Miami Connection from 1987. And let me just say, friends forever. Absolutely, friends forever. We will make it through thick and thin. We're on top because we play to win. And that is what I'll say about Miami Connection. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great, fun watch. Ridiculous plot. Some great fucking dialogue, some great scenes. And we had a good time with this one. And then I checked out the Boston Strangler, or as people are calling it, Zodiac Light. Which, you know, I tend to agree with when it came to this movie. But I don't know. I didn't think it was as terrible as everyone thought it was. I did definitely see its influences. I think its palette was a bit more muted than a David Fincher film. But I definitely did see it's all Zodiac influences. This is more of instead of a chasing a serial killer, this is an investigative journalist story. So it's kind of like Spotlight meets Zodiac. Unfortunately, just a lot less interesting. I think Keira Knightley gives a good performance. Carrie Coon is the standout. I think she was a great performance. But I finished it, and I think just a lot more could have happened. It could have been a bit more interesting. It wasn't really that gripping. And I finished it, and I was kind of like, okay, that was a film. So yeah, unfortunately, didn't really leave that much of an impact from me. Kind of mid, but I don't think it was as bad as everyone was saying it was. Then I checked out Missing. This is the next film from the people that brought us Searching from, I think it was 2018. I think it was 2018. And this one involves Storm Reed as the person that is doing the searching in this film, because the premise pretty much is that this girl, I think she's like 18, she's turning 18. Her mum goes on a trip, and her mum goes missing on the trip, and she's trying to track her down. And then, yeah, this is like the sequel in this kind of like Screen Life. Is it going to be a trilogy? I'm not really. It'd be cool if it was, but these Screen Life films that producers Anish Chaganty and Seth Ohanian have made. Now, I said this in my Letterboxd review. I did think this was better. I think it got a little bit ridiculous towards the end. If I'm thinking about it now, I think it got a little bit more ridiculous towards the end, but it still made it entertaining. But yeah, I think I liked John Cho's performance more than Storm Reed's performance, but I still thought she was really good in the film. I found this movie, I think, just a bit more gripping and a bit more entertaining because there's a lot more to do now that we're in 2023. And I particularly love the editing in this movie. This would have taken fucking ages to fucking make. I think Sev has mentioned that the editing took like a whole year or a year and a half to do because, yeah, my God, it fucking shows in the final product. Because there's a scene where Storm Reed's character June is having this party, and there's these like transitions between her and her Snapchat stories and everything, and it's going all between different apps. And I thought it was some of the best shit I've seen this year so far in terms of editing and then in terms of like special effects on screen. I thought it was just fucking brilliant, and I absolutely loved it. And again, yeah, Storm Reed's performance was really great. A great use of all these apps. I was gripped, man. Like, I was absolutely gripped watching this movie. It's one of the best thrillers I've seen in a while. And it's the same thing that Searching did for me when it came out in 2018. I was gripped the entire time. I love the mystery. This has got more twists and turns than Searching, but I really enjoyed those twists and turns. Really, really gripping. And if you haven't checked out these kind of Screen Life thrillers that these guys have made, definitely check out Searching. Definitely check out Missing, and just have a great, gripping, thrilling night. I think you can have a lot of fun with these movies, and yeah, I really enjoyed this follow-up to Searching. And then I finished the month with John Wick Chapter 4. I've been looking forward to this movie for a while. I think this was on my top 10 of the year, most anticipated. And before this, obviously, I did rewatch all 3 movies, and I'll give my ranking as well after I finish talking about John Wick 4. I fucking loved this movie. There's no denying it. There is no surprise here that I fucking love this movie. This was just, oh my God, this was just a masterclass, just like all these movies are, but this one especially is a masterclass in action filmmaking. Like, this is, everyone can talk about, all the fights and the gun foo and everything like that, but not a lot of people talk about how this film looks, how it's all shot. It's just like absolutely incredible. It's all top tier film, not just action filmmaking, top tier filmmaking in general. The fucking lighting, especially in these last two, in 3, and especially in this one, the lighting is just absolutely phenomenal. Like, it looks so fucking good. But the main reason you watch these movies is to see John Wick kick some ass. And boy, howdy, does this man kick some ass in this movie. Keanu Reeves, again, just going the extra fucking mile with these movies. And some great new additions of Akira by Rina Sawayama. I thought she was great. I love, Rina. Hello. Rina shirt here. Love her. And I loved her. I actually really liked her character in the film. Donnie Yen, his character Kane, I thought he was like probably the MVP of the movie. I loved the way he moved throughout the room. There's a way, like, I want to know if they worked it out while they were making the film. The way Kane moves throughout the rooms and the environment in this movie is almost like a snake. He, like, the way he slithers around with his cane, like, he's not really snaky touching things with his cane, but when he does get one, I think it was like when he, the first sequence when he's like eating he's eating ramen or something. I don't know, but he's eating something and then he sets up the doorbells and everything. And he just, like, the way he moves around was just so sleek and smooth and like really like reminded me of a snake. And I was just like, fuck yeah. Like, it's not just like, it's the choreography of these fucking sequences that make this movie like really stand out when it comes to action films. Man, you can start to compare these movies to the Raid films. I still think the Raid films are just top tier, top of the class shit. But John Wick, man, has really shown over this last decade now, because the first film came out in 2014. So I guess 9 years, I should say, not decade. But these are coming close. These are like skating. These are not just coming close, but they are there. They are up there with the Raid films. Because my god fucking damn, the action sequences in this movie. Ow! Like the stair sequence, the fight inside the club with Scott Adkins' character, the Arc de Triomphe sequence, the brilliant. I don't care if it's not they're saying it was a homage to this other video game that, I think it's a Russian video game that I haven't played, but goddamn, that sequence reminded me of Hotline Miami so much in that overhead shot when he's killing those people with the dragon breath bullets and everything. I loved all of the new characters introduced, like I said. I forgot to mention Bill Skarsgård and his menacing performance. I thought he was great. He suited that character perfectly. Clancy Brown as was the arbitrator, or I forget what his character's name was, but he was, again, I'd love to see Clancy Brown in everything, so he's not just Mr. Krabs. He can be a menacing little fuck. He remembers his performance from Detroit Become Human. I really liked him in that game. And Shamir Anderson as Mr. Nobody, I thought was a really interesting character. And his dog as well. Do not harm that man's dog. I really liked it. And again, I loved how the film culminated. Its final sequence just felt so final. I really hope they stick with what happened at the end of this film. Lionsgate is a studio at the end of the day. They are a movie studio that wants to make money. This movie made a lot of money at the box office. It continues to make money at the box office. So they obviously are wanting John Wick 5 back on the table. But I know that Stahelski and Reeves both have said that they're going to give it a break for a while. In my opinion, I don't think there needs to be a fifth one. I think just leave it at this now. I think we have a great quadrilogy set of films that I think just gets better and better by the entry. And yeah, wow. What an absolute fucking great film. The 2 hours, 49 minutes just fucking fly by because it's just absolute craft on display. And that's what I think not many people talk about. Yeah, they talk about the fights, they talk about everything, all the training that Keanu did, but that all comes together with the lighting, the cinematography, the music, just Chad Stahelski's directing as well, the performances. It's all in the craft of these movies. And wow, I think we have a great set of action films. If you have not even seen any of these movies, what are you doing? Go watch them. Go check them out. If you're a fan of action movies, especially if you love The Raid, go check these movies out. I think these are just brilliant. I can't wait to rewatch this again. I actually really want to go see this again, but I just don't think I'll get time to, because we have like Beau is Afraid coming out soon. We have Suzume coming out soon. So I just don't think I'll be able to get time to see it. But hands down, fucking love this movie. Fucking masterpiece of action filmmaking. And I have to say, it might be up there with one. When it comes to ranking, I'm thinking at the moment, I really like one. I really love the emotional stakes in one and just the simplicity of one. So like it might change when I rewatch 4, but right now it's 1, 4, 3, and 2 when it comes to the John Wick films. Yeah, wow. What a great set of movies. Fucking hell yeah. I just got nothing else to say. It's just fucking sick. It's fucking sick. Okay. And to wrap this off, let's talk about some TV that I watched in March as well. I watched the 6th season of My Hero Academia. And while I think I still really enjoy the show, I enjoyed the first half of this season more than the later half. The second half especially felt a bit rushed. It should have been given a lot more room to breathe a little bit, a little less filler episodes, and a little bit more focusing on these characters and the development. And look, this could be like the same as it was in the manga. I haven't read the manga. But I just think that it was a little bit rushed this season, and it didn't really have the impact, especially like those last few episodes. It didn't really feel like the end of a season to me. It was just a little bit disappointing, I think, the last half. I thought the first half was amazing, some of the best of the show, but the second half I think was a little disappointing. Left a lot to be desired, I think. Look, I'm looking forward to the final season. I think we could have got a bit more with what happens. I don't want to spoil anything, but what happens in this second half of this season. But I just think it was just really rushed, and I just think it could have been done a lot better. And of course, I'm watching the final season 4 of Succession. Last night's episode was fucking brilliant. I'm still reeling from it. I believe we're all still reeling from it if we're watching this fucking show together. I fucking love this show. I've loved it even more in the rewatch that I've done up until season 4 again. I decided to watch the whole show again up until season 4, and I loved watching it again. I think this might be my favorite show, and we'll see what happens at the end of this season. But my God, last night's episode, like some of the best television I've ever seen, honestly. Some of the best. I got Ozymandias vibes. I got Plan and Execution vibes from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. I got The View from Halfway Down vibes from BoJack Horseman. Like, you're watching this episode and you're just thinking, this is greatness. I'm watching greatness right now in terms of writing, in terms of acting, in terms of directing, in terms of fucking shooting, cinematography. Like, everything comes together in this fucking masterfully crafted episode of television. But God fucking damn it, I cannot wait for the rest of this season. And we'll see where this shakes out, because now we have 7 episodes left. And we are definitely in the end game now, and I can't wait to see where this series goes now, and what happens next. Because now you really can't. What is going to happen next? You know, you have no fucking idea. I mean, you probably have an inkling if you watch the mid-season trailer, but oh man, it feels like a rug has been like, in the best way, a rug has been pulled out from underneath us and going, here we go, here we are, and I'm so fucking keen to see what happens next with the rest of Succession. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the segment. This went a little bit longer than I thought it would, but hopefully with editing I might cut it down a little bit. I'm still working on, like I said, I've been sick, so I'm still working on that After Sun podcast. It's going to take a little bit more while to come out, I think. And this sickness like really got me. It took me out for like a whole week. And as you can hear, it's still got its hold on me. It's still got its effect on me. So, yeah, I'll let you know when everything's coming out through socials and everything. Check out the Instagram page. Hopefully going to be streaming this week as well. This comes out when I hope it'll come out. I would have already streamed as well this week. So in the description box, just go check out all the links and give me a follow. I really appreciate it. Check out the podcast as well. If you haven't listened to any episodes, go check out the podcast. And I think I'll see you in the next one.